Hello and welcome to episode 379 of the DCP plus SideQuest podcast.
Now it really seems
Everything
like
is
the 420 podcast.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
everything's fine and
We're
normal.
just on theme.
Yeah,
Yes.
I did it
It's
again,
420,
guys.
very smooth.
I started the podcast. I didn't unmute any of my co-hosts. But last time it caused so much confusion in the YouTube comments that I figured I'm not going to do that again. So we'll just restart it.
Leave it in. It's interaction with the video.
Yeah.
So just one more reason for
That's
y'all to watch live. You get the bloopers live. You know, that's
That's
the only way you can get it.
Raw and
Just
uncut.
live on Twitch, raw and uncut. It's got a new sizzle reel coming.
So we were talking, is there something happening for May the 4th this year? Like Star Wars wise? Isn't there like a new series or something coming out?
There always is. I am not the expert here because it just feels like all the time.
Okay. I mean, I feel like
Anybody?
I'm living in gluttony, right? With Shogun and Fallout both happening. Like unbelievable TV right now.
TV is real good at the moment.
Too much good entertainment.
My mother was just saying to me the other day, like, remember when TV was just reality shows? I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was awful.
Terrible.
Now TV is so good. It's the best it's ever been. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because it's like streaming and on-demand content for the really big stuff, right? Like TV is like your top. Like I assume that's mostly sports now and like news. Like who watches?
I haven't had a cable
subscription
in like 10 years.
Yeah.
I have no idea
But
what
I was
like
like,
CBS is
and
doing right now.
And the Golden Bachelor or whatever. I think that's it.
A little off topic, but TV is weird because I wanted to watch the Masters golf tournament this weekend.
See it,
Sports, right? So I'm like, okay, how do I do this? You know, I obviously I go to Google. Google was completely useless because every ad was like the Masters golf tournament is a tournament every May in Georgia and blah blah blah, and then like you scroll like through 300 ads and then like paywall, right? So I finally figure out that the Masters has their own app, so you can watch the golf tournament like on Apple TV or on your phone through their own app, which is great, and it's free.
Really?
Yeah. However, they don't show like the traditional like here are the leaders like of the golf tournament, like
they don't.
And here
have
are the shots
the
they're hitting. No, what they do is they show like here is this group that has like Tiger Woods in it, and we're gonna show every shot this group hits for 18 holes, along with this group that's 6 holes behind them. But they don't show the leaders and like the people who are like doing score, like making good scores and everything. So it's a little weird. I ended up subscribing to Paramount Plus. Actually, at first I subscribed to ESPN Plus. And quickly figured out that I just wasted $12 because they're showing exactly the same thing the Masters app was showing. And then I subscribed to Paramount Plus, and they were showing like that kind of like regular ass like golf tournament coverage. That's just perfect for a Sunday afternoon nap.
All that just to take a nap.
It was an expensive nap.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fallout TV show. There's questions about that in Twitter questions, so I'm not gonna talk about it now. But holy smokes, what a good show! So happy
What a
about
good
it.
show. What a satisfying show. Like, you watch a lot of shows where like everything's kind of like, towards the end or it starts off good or whatever, and just like the whole thing, like the through line of that show. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about it. It's great.
It is. It's really good. If you haven't watched it yet, it's on Amazon, and it's real good. Watts, before we get into Destiny, can you tell me a little bit about I always forget the name of this game. It's No Sleep for the Wicked?
No Rest for the Wicked.
No Rest for the Wicked.
I don't care about anything else except No Rest for the Wicked for the foreseeable future.
All right. Sold.
Yeah, it's so if you don't know what No Rest for the Wicked is, they call it an ARPG, but I think that's actually kind of misleading for a lot of people because ARPG tends to be Diablo, it's Last Epoch, it's all things like that. So you expect a certain amount of things. You expect combat, I think especially, to be a certain way, which is you get really powerful builds and you do lots of AoEs and there's just like billions of enemies on the screen and you blow them all up. And that's what ARPGs are. And I think that's probably the thing that people expect the most out of an ARPG experience. And that's at least what I'm seeing online when it comes to No Rest for the Wicked. But their combat... Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say probably because it's isometric as well, so people assume, you know.
Yeah, so they call it an ARPG, but they're calling it a different take on the ARPG or moving the genre in a different way and not having to be like combat has to be like this and the upgrades have to be this way and you have to pick a class and you have to they're definitely going outside of that. So the combat is Souls-like for sure. It's definitely Souls-like combat. They've said that their inspiration was the Soul series and Monster Hunter, so you have very deliberate hits, and the game can get real tough sometimes. But on the other side, that's not like a Souls-like, and it's actually why I tend to say that it's almost like a top-down Neo, and that's because of the loot. The loot is randomized, so all of the areas are handcrafted, unlike a lot of ARPGs. But the loot that you get in there is totally random. So you can end up getting a bunch of purple loot, and I'll end up just getting a bunch of materials or money or something like that. So it's totally random what you find and where you find it. So that's kind of an ARPG thing. And then also the stats that come on the armor and the weapons are also random. And that's when you can get some really crazy builds going.
How does Dark Souls combat work with the isometric perspective where sometimes your character can kind of like cover up the enemy character, or does that not happen?
No, it works perfectly. I haven't had a single moment where I was like, this tree is in the way, or this person's in the way, or this box is in the way. I haven't had any moment like that in like 10 hours, plus the 15 hours I played in the small demo earlier. So yeah, 25 hours, I haven't had that experience yet. Upgrading works like Souls as well, where you're choosing dexterity, strength, intellect, etc., and then your weapons scale with different stats. So it's very Soulsy. It's basically just like the loot, and I think they also are going to have an end game instead of having new game plus. You're going to have like dungeons that you can grind, which definitely seems more ARPG, but I'm not going to experience that until later. And then you also have another part of the game that's kind of like a crafting game where you're cutting down trees, you're fishing, you're picking up materials, and you can craft armor, weapons, but you can also craft things to put in your house. So you can craft a bunch of different furniture. You can craft things that you can actually use to make your equipment. So yeah, it's a mix of a couple different genres.
That is the thing that I'm most interested to find out about, because I kind of get the rest of it, and it sounds very on brand. I know that I like a lot of it, but then you're like, oh, and by the way, Animal Crossing. So like, how would you maybe like, how does it compare? Yeah, like, do you build your own house, or you're sort of like you have a choice of a house, and then when you say build your own equipment, what do you mean? Like a chair to sit on, or like a shield to use?
Yeah, so you can buy a bunch of different houses. I haven't got to the point where I can buy a house yet, but you do have the choice of you're gonna need money. You're definitely gonna need money. And yeah, you have a couple different choices in the town of houses to buy, from obviously like cheaper to more expensive. And then you can make like beds, plant pots, tables, chairs, candles. You can decorate your house and you can craft all of it, and you find recipes in order to craft it, and you can get all of the materials to craft it, and then you can put like a smelter in your house so that you can turn your copper into ingots and etc. So yeah, it's got all of that.
Interesting. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
it's like I don't know. I saw some smoke in the background there, Briar. You got a little smelter off to the side?
I wish, man, in my dreams.
Yeah, I think you just answered. I was like, does it buff you potentially in any ways? It's almost like an MMO kind of mechanic to a point. Like, have a house. In other words, if you don't have a house, do you not get access to maybe something better?
If you don't have a house, you aren't able, I believe, as far as I know from
it's
right
only
now.
10 hours.
Yeah, I am super early, but I don't think you can like craft your own armor and weapons. But then again, there's also the upgrading of the town. So you can also upgrade the town. So you put resources into the smithy and you put resources into the tailor. So when they get to level 2, maybe then they can craft stuff for you, but mine aren't at level 2 yet.
Okay. Yeah, it
So,
sounds like sort of MMO
yeah.
housing to a point, and then that'll give you some buffs like you mean. So that sounds really cool. And
That does
you,
sound cool.
did you say you actually do things like chop down trees or pull some
Yep.
grass kind of? So that there's
Yep.
farming activities. It's not like,
There
you beat a
is-
pack of enemies and just there's some logs fell out of their butt.
Nope. You go around and you cut down trees. There's fishing, there's digging, there's mining. And if you're fishing and digging, those things can also give you loot along with a fish or whatever you get from the
Are you
ground.
doing that stuff in the same area you're fighting enemies?
Yes.
So like you might
get
want
attacked.
to get through like an area so that you find a good fishing spot.
So you can find the way that fishing works is there'll be like fish jumping out of the water, and then once you fish once, that is depleted.
Oh,
So then you
well,
have to go find another area. No, they do come
It's not
back.
very
Like
sustainable.
things do come back, but yeah, it does get depleted.
You
It's-
restock.
It's really a crazy game, man. Like if you're a fan of Souls-like combat, making builds and crafting and grinding to upgrade stuff, it's really like the perfect game if you like what I like.
I'm
It's
a
got
fan of
everything.
Souls-like combat and watch YouTube videos that tells me the best build to make.
Well,
Is
you're gonna
there-
have to
Sounds
get
dope.
RNG to get the things to make that.
How many
so-
fish do I gotta catch to make this fucking badass silver sword?
Well, that's what I wanted to ask is like, does all the best gear come from crafting, or does some of it like drop? Could you play the game more action oriented rather than just going down crafting, or is it kind of built in? You kind of have to do all of it.
No, there's a ton of loot that drops. You can get the rarity. The way the rarity works is there's white, which is common, and they don't use the standard rarity of like white is bad, and then blue is slightly better, and purple is slightly better than that, and then gold is the best. They do a white is the most customizable. Like it doesn't come with anything on it, but you can put everything on it and you can upgrade it. So that's going to take more of an investment for a white weapon to be
Interesting.
good. Yeah.
So
And
it's
then
not good right
blue-
away when it drops. You
It's
gotta
not good
make it
right away. Yeah. Yeah.
This
But
is
if you
gonna be a
invest into a
grindy ass
weapon-
game, isn't it?
They're gonna have a that's what I'm saying. Because they're like, there's 25 hours of content in early access. I'm like, yeah, right. I'm 10 hours in
Like
and I've
100.
killed 1.5 bosses. And
How
I've
many
seen
bosses
one area.
are there in the early access?
I don't know. I don't know how many bosses there are. That might be all of them. I don't know. But it doesn't seem like it.
My whole weekend is
Um,
planned right now.
It's
I'm just doing
it's
this.
crazy. And then the blue rarity loot is all positive effects. But so you don't have to worry about anything bad. It's just all going to be positive stuff. And then purple is cursed that has super awesome positive effects, but will have a negative effect on it. So I have one that I lose gold when I die.
Okay.
But I get
Just
like
don't die.
5 super crazy stats. So I'm like, eh. And then the final rarity is the gold one, and that's just uniques, which as I've only seen one so far. It's come from a boss. It's a boss weapon. You can't change anything on it. You can put gems on it, and gems will do stuff like 3% more stamina, or you get 2% health on a kill, or something like that. So you can add gems to those weapons, but they already come with 4 special moves, which is the max amount that a weapon can have. The common ones white ones come with 1 special move, and a lot of the blue ones come with 1 or 2. So yeah, the unique weapons come with 4 special moves, which is pretty crazy. And yeah, the unique weapon is, at least this boss weapon, does insane damage. It's ridiculous. It's very, very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Dope.
Yeah,
How much
it's,
customability does your character have as far as like fighting styles? Like, are you forced to just use like the style that they want? Is it a lot like parry heavy, or can you build like a build where you block a lot or roll a lot?
So you can get shields, and shields can block damage. And then if you were really like, I just want to block damage and never lose my poise, which is, if you run out of your battle stance bar, poise bar, whatever you want to call it, then you're like, oh no, and it makes you weak to an attack. But so yeah, if you wanted to use a shield and you wanted to just block everything, you don't want to roll and you don't want to parry, you could just get a bunch of armor that has increased your poise on it, so you can actually block more stuff, because it just uses your poise bar. So you gotta be a little careful. So you can't do that. You can also choose to parry if you want, and you can choose to dodge. There's also magic in the game with wands and also staffs. But the way that they do it is a little bit interesting because they use this thing called the focus bar. And the focus bar, you get that resource from engaging in combat. You can parry and you get a full focus bar. Doing damage gives you a focus bar. So you can't just sit there like slinging fireballs. You can't just do that. You have to kind of interact with it a little bit. I did find one ability, which was a channeling ability that takes your health and turns it into focus. So I guess if you have a lot of stuff to heal yourself with, you could do that and throw a bunch of fireballs. But yeah, generally, if you're choosing to use magic, you are going to be a little bit more interactive with combat than just slinging magic. So yeah, there's a bunch of different playstyles. There's 100 weapons, they said. There's 100 weapons in the game. So all of them have unique attacks.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
How do you think 100 combines to like a Dark Souls game, and how do you think it combines to like a how many weapons are in like an Assassin's Creed game?
How many weapons? Let's do Dark Souls 3.
Okay.
Dark Souls 3, 220.
Okay.
Looks like. And this is early access.
Yeah.
So this isn't even the final game. It's the first act of the game. And of course, they're adding multiplayer. They're adding a whole new area. They're adding farming. I cannot wait for farming because you heal through food, cooking food. So if you don't have any heals, you have to go and get food to cook it. So I can't wait for farming. Farming is great.
Can you like buy food in town?
You might be able to. Yeah, I haven't looked at too many of the vendors for that stuff, but you might be able to. That would be nice. Buy some chowder.
Mm-hmm.
Chowder.
You know, order takeout tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, other than maybe stills or whatever, have they showed any multiplayer yet? Like in action?
There's a little bit in trailers, but that's
there is
it.
a little. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very curious, like to hear and learn about that because it seems with the replayability and everything, that seems like that could be a really sweet spot. And like, can they, like, yeah, like maybe you know the answer. Can they come to your house and I assume, right? Which is pretty neat.
Yeah, they can totally come to your house.
To go to each other's houses or however that works.
There's even like a community chest that you can put stuff in. So if anything's in the community chest, people can just come and take it. People can put stuff in the community chest. So I think what I'm planning on doing, because the way that the game works is you create a realm. I think what I would do is have like a solo realm and then have a co-op realm. And it's like, if you want to play, this is the realm that I do co-op it, which might be a nice way to do it.
How many people can play in your like together?
I think it's 4 total.
Yeah, I think it was 4.
That's pretty good. That'd be fun to just roll into a Souls game.
Yeah, wonder where the realms are hosted in that thing. Like I was like, oh, is it like Valheim but probably not. I mean, it sounds like they'll be hosting.
I don't know. I don't know how that works. You can also play offline, so you don't have to worry about any server issues.
Nice.
Not something to worry about. So launch was great. Super smooth. Super smooth launch.
Good stuff. From the makers of Ori, if we didn't say it already.
Yes, from the creators of Ori and the Will of the Wisps, the Blind Forest, and the art is just it's really crazy. Like there's parts in the town where you go and stand on like a balcony and it will kind of pan over and show you the city. And there's also a time system in the game as well as weather, so you can see it in like the bright sun, and then you can see it in the evening with rain. And it's one of the more beautiful games I think I've ever seen.
How's it run?
It's very pretty. So it runs fine for me. But I have an i9 13900K CPU. We don't care about the GPU. You know why? Because video games don't care about GPUs anymore. You could just not have one. You don't need one anymore. But yeah.
I was gonna say you almost don't because it's on cloud as well, which is it's only on. Yeah, I think they just announced. I was reading the news up here, and I was like, oh wait, it's on GeForce Now cloud.
Just play it on that if you have any problems.
Yeah, so it's just that, and I think Steam for early access, but
it is coming to consoles eventually, so they'll have to optimize it somewhat.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be working on optimization. They've even said that they're having some fixes in their next patch for GPU stuff, just to have it use the GPUs more because it is quite CPU bound. So people are having some frame dips here and there. Other people are like, "Why can't I play this game? It's a topped-out game. Why is it so demanding?" I'm like, their lighting is insane.
Mm.
It does look
Lighting
really
is
good.
so demanding in games. I had a friend who he had his game on Steam, beautiful lighting. They had to remove almost all of the lighting to get it to work on Switch. Like almost every single part of the lighting that they had. So lighting can be very, very, very demanding. But yeah, it definitely is quite a demanding game. They will be working on it more. We'll see what the patch does to make it use the GPU more. But currently, it is quite CPU bound. So if you have a beefy CPU, you should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
from what I
somebody
can see.
somebody out there, check out GeForce Now Cloud for us on this one. You can get like a day pass. I think there's the free stuff, but like you can play up to like 4K on a 4080. That's their almost their top end card right now. You know, it is over cloud, but like this type of game might work pretty well. Now, I don't know how tight those parry timings are, but still, anyway, it's always nice to see the advancements there. To your point, there's people who are like, man, it just doesn't run right. It's like, give it a try on cloud. I mean, I've played a few things that I've been surprised by.
Yeah.
I really need to give cloud a go again soon. I did. I remember in the beginning of D2, I did Trials of the Nine one time on my MacBook on GeForce Now.
Yeah.
It was I actually
Wow.
made it flawless. It was amazing.
You
Yes.
did? Okay.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
But it was
Like, I
not a
wouldn't
fun
do that, but
experience. Let me
yeah.
tell you.
See, the game like that, less so think would work. But there's other games like, maybe even Cyberpunk that you're like, actually, it's not bad, and I got all the ray tracing on, which is handled, on the cloud. So anyway,
when Stadia got shut down, a lot of Destiny players were sad about it because they were playing Destiny on Stadia for free.
They were, yeah.
Well,
there was also
Go
a
get
bunch of
loot
people
from
that I
Xur.
heard from that were like, I play. So there was one person I knew who was a paramedic, and they used to play in the ambulance while they were waiting, and that's how they like got in their Destiny time, because they had a bunch of super demanding times for that job, and they were able to get in their gaming time like that. No, like
Yeah, I was traveling a lot then too, and it was super nice just to be able to like log in and like play
Go to
on
the vendors,
like literally on your phone. You could like get on, and like get the vendors exactly, friend. Yeah, not have to worry about any time gated stuff. Yeah,
you could do it on your phone. Yeah.
Does GeForce
Xbox
still
Cloud
hook into your Steam library? Like for a while they did that, right? But I don't know if they. I think they stopped doing it.
I think they do. They did.
Do they still do it?
I'm on
they
the
did
page.
at one
I'll
point.
see if I can get an answer, but either way, it is a good reminder because some things it does work pretty decent.
Yeah, go check it out because the game is quite demanding, and it's
it does
super fun.
Still
game.
does? Okay.
Yeah, it lets you connect Steam, Epic Games, Ubisoft, and more.
Cool.
That's dope.
So with that service,
worth
you just
noting,
rent server time, basically? Like you rent?
Yeah.
Oh, is that how it works? I didn't know that, actually. That's really interesting.
It used to be like you could actually play for free, just at a lower quality, kind of like Stadia. Like you could just use it, and then eventually they cracked down on it. But I played several a PUBG game that way.
Oh, wait, which game?
On GeForce Now? Yeah.
Well, no, they still list a free option.
It's timed though. It's like 30 minutes or an hour or something, or at least it was
1 hour session length on a basic rig, and there's ads potentially. I see. I thought that was like ongoing. Ads supported. Just
there's ads
like
on everything now, Briar. Like there's ads on the stuff you already pay for. Like you pay for that Amazon Prime subscription, you still gotta watch the
Dude,
ads.
I was real mad when they said, "Oh, you want to pay us more money to get an ad-free experience?" I'm like, "No, I want to pay you the same amount of money I was paying you before for an ad-free experience," which is what I expected. Like they raised the Amazon Prime cost every year. Why didn't they just build it into that? Like, why do you got to charge me a monthly fee now? I'm canceling Amazon Prime as soon as Fallout Season 2 is
done binging. Yeah. Everybody will be probably.
Before we do move on, I just want to say that until May 2nd, there is a 10% discount on Steam directly, which takes it from $39.99 to $35.99. And then there's also... Yeah, there's also affiliate links, which I do have an affiliate link. A bunch of people have affiliate links. I know Gathalion has a affiliate link, and that takes it from $39.99 to $31.99, and
How
it's
do I
super
find your
simple.
affiliate link?
I have it on Twitter. I have it on Twitch.
Okay.
I have it on YouTube. I have it pretty much everywhere. I think the No Rest for the Wicked Twitter accounts also tweeted it out. But the way that works is it takes you to the private division website, and then you purchase it through there, and they give you a Steam key. So you're still playing through Steam. You're just purchasing a Steam key and getting some money off instead of directly through
Perfect.
Steam.
I'll just use your
Yeah, go support a creator.
discount.
Yeah,
code.
and I do get a kickback.
Watts.
I get like $1.5. So
Money well
What?
spent.
So-
if like
Revenue share
7,000 of you
revealed.
guys use it, that would be pretty cool.
I
Hey, that's
saved
more than what
$9 and you
YouTube
get
Shorts
$1.50.
make.
That sounds like a win-win.
It is. It's a win-win. It was actually really cool that they did that, because I don't know many studios that have done like a affiliate link for just buying their game. Like, imagine if Destiny did that for the Eververse store.
Yeah, I mean, other than Epic Games in general.
Yeah, it's pretty much just Epic.
I would change my
yeah,
tune on
it's-
the Eververse store. I'll tell you what.
You're like, whoa, new
Have you guys
Eververse
seen
sets.
the newest merch stats in the Eververse store? It's amazing.
Sellout Briar confirmed. Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, check Watts' Twitter, right? Was probably the best place to
It
find
is, yeah, Twitter's probably the easiest place. It's my pinned tweet, so it's super easy to find.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's an incredible game though, man. I will play this game forever. One of the devs was in the stream, and they're like, at this rate, you're going to be playing this game for 3 years. I'm like, just the early access? Because you're probably right. I'm probably just going to be playing this one thing for a really long time.
Do you know
There's
how
just so
long
much
she
to do.
spent on the last character creator?
That one was a while.
Can you
over
create
an
a
hour.
character in this?
You do create a character, yeah. Character creator is a lot more simplified than I think a lot of games we've seen recently, but you do create your own character. So it is a personalized character, which is nice. Oh,
Lego, how good is
friend.
the new Midnight Coup?
Oh, it is very good. It's actually
moving-
very divisive.
It
Like,
has been, yeah. I
yeah,
saw
some
that.
people are like, "What is wrong with this thing? What is everybody seeing it?" And then other people are like, "This is it. This is like." So I'm trying to like do a bunch of research right now, because I'm pretty sure I can make the statement that it is the strongest PvE hand cannon in the game, like even over Warden's Law, as long as you're not rocking Lucky Pants, because it doesn't work with Lucky Pants. But outside of that, it is very, very strong in PvE, and that's like backed up by the people who run like D2 Foundry and like all, or at least the people behind the math of it. I was like double checking, like, hey guys, like, am I right in this statement? And they're like, yeah, you kind of are. I was like, okay, here we go. But no, it's very good in PvE, and in PvP, that's where it's probably the most divisive. But like, I think because it has the most aim assist in of an adaptive hand cannon in the game, 90 base, and it comes with moving targets, you can get 100 like out the gate, no targeting mods or anything.
Oh, wow. Did the old
And
version
then,
have that much aim assist?
I think they juiced it.
Yeah.
I need to go back and check, but I know that they were juicing weapons, and I think that this was one of them. And anyway, yeah, so I really dig it in Crucible. It's got a bunch of damage a bunch of new crazy perks, kinetic trimmers for PvE, and one for all. And there's a bunch of like crazy perk interactions too. I'm literally gonna have to make a web of which perks work together and which ones don't, because it's very complicated. There's a bunch that you think would and don't, and then there's a bunch, like, for instance, just an example, like Fireflies on it in like the left column, and in the right column it's got one for all. And Firefly, if you shoot it in the middle of a bunch of ads, will blow up, hit multiple ads, and activate 35% buff from one for all, like just one shot.
That is crazy.
Oh, wow.
And then that one shot can also proc Flint Striker in the seasonal artifact mod that gives you Radiant. So you literally shoot one shot and you're Radiant, 35% buff from one for all, like all at the same time.
Wow.
It's nuts. Yeah. So
I've
yeah, I'm in
also
love.
heard people have been liking, what was it, Explosive Payload and Zen Moment?
Yeah, because
procs
it
it, like,
ramps
super
up
fast.
fast. Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's a lot of
that's-
really cool interactions of perks in these weapons. On all the weapons that we've kind of had. It's like there's more interesting stuff going on with them.
Yeah,
which I
it really
love.
is. Especially Mountaintop launching people now. I haven't got that one yet. I've
But
just been so focused.
I have seen some really funny clips, and now I know that all I'm gonna do next time I play Destiny is just shooting Mountaintop at your friend's feet, and they just go flying. They go flying across the map. So that's all I want to do. I will be doing that.
That is something that it used to be easier to fuck with your friends in Destiny 1 than I feel like it is in Destiny 2. So, and I'm glad to see a little bit of that return, because that was definitely part of the fun in Destiny. It was like running your friend over with a sparrow, smashing him into a wall to kill him during a nightfall mission, stuff like that.
It's so difficult because like you run into those situations where people really are trolling people in strikes, and that is frustrating. I've been in one of those strikes where somebody is like killing you, like constantly killing you by some trick, and you're like, dude, I just want to just play this strike and get it over with, But it is really fun when you can mess with your friends.
And so, to get Midnight Coup, that just launched this week, is it?
It did,
go to the our site 99, that new vendor in the hall. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's to get these weapons, it's really short quest to just get that first roll, and then you can attune it, and then you have like a 50% drop rate of it, no matter like how you're getting it. A lot of people are complaining about that attunement. They're like, I turned in 300 tokens and got 3, total midnight coups, but it's just RNG, being RNG. They've been dropping pretty frequently if you just play the game like normal, play some onslaught. And yeah, those get people showing off their shinies, getting those double perk column things. And like I said, it's really hard to get a bad roll. There's so many good perks and so many good perk combinations. It really comes down to, do you like the feel of the gun, and are you okay with the recoil?
Does it feel like it did in the year 1 version?
Yes, and that is kind of the problem. Destiny guns are so good and solid now, like most of the hand cannons now, like Rose and Igneous and some others, it just feels like they're just dead on, like you don't feel the kick as much. And Midnight kind of like, it feels like the gun's hitting you in the face a little bit. And it goes to the side a bunch, and I think that's throwing a lot of people off.
Okay.
But Zen Moment's there to help with that too. So like Zen Moment, that's what the perk does, is it literally takes away the visual recoil of the weapon. It actually doesn't do anything other than flinch reduction in game as far as like stats, but it reduces the way that your screen bounces when you shoot the gun.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my favorite weapon by a long shot in like the first 2 years of Destiny 2.
Yeah,
I used it for everything.
I remember everybody posting their numbers with that gun of
the
thousands and thousands of kills and not wanting to take it off, right? So it's same with Mountaintop and all. They obviously brought that back. It's one of the most used guns out there.
Oh, another gun thing that happened this week is last time I was on the podcast, I was talking about that grenade launcher that had like infinite ammo. If you like shot at people's feet, it like just kept regenerating ammo. So everybody thought like, oh, this is gonna get patched. All my YouTube comments. That has it, but it's not as easy to do as it's the Tusk of the Boar Iron Banner wave frame. And so anyway, all the comments were like, this is going to get patched. It's going to be like, they're going to fix this. And I was like, y'all, I think it might be a bug the other way around. Like, I think they might fix it to where it works all the time. You don't have to do this workaround. And then they did this week. They fixed it to where if you just shoot 3 enemies, it doesn't matter how you do it. Like the wave just hits 3 enemies. They don't even have to die. It just refunds your ammo. So like if people are in like a well of radiance, you can literally just boom, 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 sword's dead, boom, boom, the players are dead. Like you can just keep shooting and you just have unlimited ammo to do it. It's really crazy now.
Really feels like they're just going crazy with this game right now.
It does.
Especially after last week with the reveal. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah. Like it really feels like, okay, we're gonna move on, but we're gonna go crazy with Destiny 2 before we do.
And
we talked about that last week. I would encourage folks to like maybe go back to that episode. The question was sort of like, man, it seems like they're kind of going ham with all the powers, and now we're talking about the weapons going ham, and like, but is that a signal for like a Destiny 3, and how far is it out? And we went into the detail, but that's kind of what you were getting at, right, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah, not to cut it off. I was just like, yeah, it's.
100%.
I feel like we said a lot last week that was interesting. I definitely feel that way, but I still stand by I still think it's very far off, but it's setting the stage of like there's still going to be a change within Destiny 2 as well, you know.
Like they're not worried about power creep. They're like in a power elevator. They're like on the power escalator, and they got it set to max speed.
Well, you know, it is good. I think that y'all talked about this last week, but that they released the list of like what the abilities are that they're adding together, and it's kind of the underdogs, like the unused stuff. And so it's, you know, it's helping people get to those things, and it's limiting it to not be like crazy oppressive in PvP. At least we think, you know, we'll see what happens when we get it. But I'm still, even with that, I'm still on Fran's point there because, well, I think y'all discussed this too, but whenever Luke Smith first got on that, on the opening, and he was like, here's what we're doing the rest of Destiny 2 and beyond. Like, it was like after Destiny 2 is what it made it sound like. And I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely, it definitely feels like that's on the way at some point.
I just have to laugh at it though, because it's like people read into those things the way they want, you know. He had to like reinforce Luke himself, right, and the team
it's like,
multiple times. There will not.
Over.
Yeah, there will. Yeah, I know.
He's
Come
like,
on, guys. It was the tone was
exactly. It was. Yeah.
Look, man, I'm just happy to be back and let you guys know this is just the beginning. It was totally like it was. Yeah, it was actually one tick shy with that Miley Cyrus quote of like, the best thing is when you're like but anyway, yeah, like I think you read into it how you want though, right? Like to me it just as much read, look, we're not done with the final shape, everybody, we can't tell you about the ending of the story, there's episodes coming and we've got things in store. That's one way to read it. And then like everybody else who wants like something even bigger is just like, he's talking about Destiny 3. And it's like, well, yeah, I think there's a Destiny 3. That's my take, is it's both, right? Of course, down the road, but I think you should strap in for episodes for a while and maybe even another expansion years from now instead of every year or something. I mean, who knows?
I don't know. For a long time, I was kind of like, I don't know if they're ever going to do a Destiny 3. I think they're just going to continue to like, you know, add to Destiny 2. For a long time, I thought, why don't you guys just drop the 2 and just call this Destiny? Like, why? If you never plan on making a 3, then why keep the 2 around?
But maybe that's it.
Maybe they are making a 3.
A migration, right? They leave behind, you know, this Destiny 2, but then they've also got Destiny. I mean, it's just such a big game now that it's hard to imagine that they keep layering on it for another 10 years.
Yeah.
Even 6 years. Like I could see,
even
that's why for me, I was like 3
years.
3 years of episodes, and then like maybe, I don't know. I mean, we're just guessing, but
I'm just gonna keep mentioning Destiny 3 until it comes true. Eventually, I'm gonna be right.
I know. Yeah, well, that's what I was getting at. Is like people are, you know, just reading into it how they want it. I mean, eventually, because they said there is not going to be a Destiny.
Every
3,
YouTube thumbnell can't be wrong, Fran.
Insane news on the next Destiny.
Destiny 3 confirmed.
Exactly.
Destiny 3 confirmed.
But yeah, man, I'm excited. Yeah, we didn't get to hear from you, Lego. The discussion was a lot on like, do you feel like it's going so ham it's going to be hard to like do these episodes and stuff after that it's getting so out of hand? Or you like, in other words, did you want another subclass and you feel like this was a means to an end? Or you're like, no, this could have been really hard to do, and they're just going. What was your take on it?
It is an interesting conversation because it feels like it would be really hard to balance so fast. Like for them to just whip it out all of a sudden, it does feel like it would have been something a little more planned. But also, like, didn't they bring Strand forward for Lightfall? Like,
Yeah.
I just
They
feel
did,
like
yeah.
because if they're able to do that, I could see how they were able to do this too last second. So I really feel like it could go either way. But yeah, regardless, I think it just looks beautiful because they actually
Yeah,
did create.
it does.
TV brought that up. I think they actually did create new stuff like with the prismatic grenades and like once you enter that state where you're throwing grenades and melees all the time, there is like some new stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. It's like a new nade and then
yeah,
Transcendence itself, and the
yeah.
animation and
And the whole like meter thing where you have to fill it up, like that's a whole other thing. And maybe the UI team was able to tackle that because there's a new UI coming too that they introduced. I don't remember when that was, but they kind of like previewed it in one of the TWABs or patch note things here. And man, the new the
yeah, that's
UI
right.
looks crazy good. Just having it so clean and like buffs being on the like stuff for the raid that's important up on the top, weapon stuff by your weapon down low, and then any like character buffs, radiant, all that stuff on the left. Like I can't wait for that. Just it's very needed with all the clutter we got right now. It's hard to know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I just was. I wonder if I caught the same UI reveal you were talking about. We should share it after, but it reminded me of like they didn't launch the new reticle, like the gun reticle changes and stuff, right?
Right.
That
Yeah.
they didn't do that yet, right? Remember when
Yeah.
they were talking about like they showed like it in the sandbox demo of like we're changing how your gun reticle looks, so there's more info and like that was a while ago, and
Yes.
so
Yeah.
what I'm leading to was like, I was like, look, this excites me, but it looks like more Destiny 2, which is awesome. I've always played
Right.
Destiny. I love it. But I'm still waiting. Like, I like quality of life improvements like you're talking about. Like, what's kind of
Mhm.
going to change the feel and experience? I hope they got that rabbit or those rabbits to pull out of their hat in the coming month or so here.
Yeah, honestly, to me, the new subclass, it like I do view it as a new subclass. The way
Yeah.
that they pulled it all together, I know some people won't, but like that was the reveal to me. I was like, oh wow, like the fact that we're getting that, and y'all covered this too, but like the new enemy class, as well,
Yes.
like just a whole
The
new raid,
dread.
like that was
The
just
dread.
That's
so needed, and man, it gets me so excited to just play something different. So excited.
yeah. Yeah, that's the stuff that excites me is new enemies, new mechanics, etc. Looking forward to it. I'm just
Hmm.
glad that we're at a point where we're finally talking about being excited again. We
Right.
had the usual, dread to crawl through for a while of like, oh, I don't know, what's I might be done with Destiny, and like I think some people genuinely are or were, but we're back at like, people are like, okay, I have been playing this for 10 years and I only quit for the last 7 months, so I didn't really quit. Now I'm definitely playing. Like whatever. It's not an I told you so. It's just like it's that same behavior I feel like as someone who doesn't play again, I don't burn myself out as much and there's no right or wrong to it. Whatever you like to do, enjoy it. But I think people burn themselves out and it leads to that like despair. It's like, man, I always enjoy the expansions, like
Yeah.
whether things are perfect or not. And I've really been looking forward to it. So that's why, again, I still want more details. I can't wait to see the raid. I know we're going to talk a little bit
Hmm.
about that. And
Yeah.
quality of life improvements, man, they go so far. I just always bring up the loadouts and the getting rid of affinity elements and stuff for Lightfall. It was monstrous enjoyment for me in a
Right.
game I already invested 8 years in, and I hope Final Shape brings some of
Yeah. One thing that they're also feels like they might be pulling back on a little bit. We'll see. Dan Finity was in chat a second ago and he brought it up.
Yay.
Doing like pulling back on crafted weapons a bit. It's been a big discussion in the community this week because of the shinies that everybody's getting from Into the Light. And it's like, oh, I got that rush again that I haven't felt in Destiny for so long of getting this special thing that won't be around for a while, has a low chance of dropping, but also isn't any different than the normal thing that's available. It's just shiny. Like it's like getting a rare Pokemon, and
it.
so it's made a lot of people be like, what? I've been missing this because with crafted weapons, I just make the thing and then I don't think about it again. And that's it. How much more exciting is getting this shiny version of something versus getting 5 deep sights to craft a weapon? Just is a very different feeling for people. I'm curious if y'all have any thoughts on that because I have some thoughts, but I want to hear y'all's first.
Got any thoughts?
This is not my favorite part of the game, so it's like I don't really care how all that stuff works. I just take the guns. If I got to grind for one that's like really special, I'll do it begrudgingly, but I'll do it.
I feel like I should have said, Fran, do you have any thoughts? Because I feel like I
I
know
was
he does.
already babbling on about the same thing I did last week, so I was being hesitant. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to burn myself out, like I said. So I'm not grinding for shinies and stuff, but I actually thought it was really cool. And I did get one, and I get it. You know, I get the specialness of that, and I think it's great. I think the fact that it's rare. There's so many. My reaction to reading basically some tweets and etc. People are like, I don't know, they need to buff it, and then they did, and like that's fine. They probably did because I haven't been grinding. I'm not an expert on how worth it feels, but the fact that it is so rare and special, that is what always made like the exotics originally and some other ones great. And so I think it's great they brought that back. And my point I'm leading to is like, look, we all want that stuff and you want to feel the reward for the time you spend. And it's a tricky balance with like keeping it special when there's so many good guns in Destiny. Like you're not really missing out if you don't get a shiny Midnight Coup. Like you will still get a good Midnight Coup if you log in and try. It'll be pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
And then you'll move on to like whatever the next thing is. But again, you want to keep it special without like filling up, you know, your vault with a bunch of shinies. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's a good point, filling stuff up. See, I was on the side of liking the crafted stuff a lot because I tinker with things so much and like getting the
Right.
perfect. And RNG can be so frustrating to if you're looking for a certain role on something and you play like I did the dungeon a little while ago, the last dungeon that was released, looking for the strand bow for just literally 2 perks together, and the perk pool was like a 5x5 column, and I didn't care about the rest of it, just 2 perks together. I got that weapon to drop over 70 times and never got that 2 perk combo. And like the odds were that I would have got it 1 out of 40 or something. I don't remember what it was, but it was like I should have gotten it. And it's just RNG can just be bad sometimes. And I don't want to spend, I just want to play the game that's fun. And that for me means just crafting a thing and then going and playing the game. But I also understand the drive to like get the shiny and do the thing. And so I think it's interesting that we've kind of evolved into like well, maybe crafted is fine for like one set of seasonal weapons or whatever, but we need to have those things to chase after too. And maybe there's a balance there.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think going back to crafted, I felt like that's what we immediately heard from people against it. It just like it wasn't special anymore. They wanted it to be special. Whereas I was like on the other side, I'm like, I'm glad this stuff's here, but I don't have the time personally, or I don't want to make the time to get the red borders and level it up. And like, I just want to play the game, to use your words. And again, I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think you need kind of both. Like you're getting at is like you have enough, some crafting and whatnot to solve some problems is like the way I would put it. It's like, man, I just need a good glaive. I need a good hand cannon. Okay, these you can go craft, but not like all the good stuff is that go earn that stuff.
Right.
And then I would love it to have both. And then, of course, for the third thing, give me some gear management so I can chase this stuff without doing homework every time I go through 3 strikes or whatever.
I don't personally like crafting. I think I would like crafting more if it was, like you said, Fran, the case of like, this is a protection of really bad RNG, and that you can't get like enhanced perks or any of that. It's just, hey, you can make a roll that is eventually you'll be able to get the roll that you want. But because all of the crafted weapons are going to be better than any drops that you get, if you get a god roll that's perfect 5 out of 5, it completely takes away the excitement of that god roll. It's just gone. You're like, well, this will do for now until I can get my enhanced crafted weapon.
Yeah.
So I think crafting really killed a lot of desire for me at all with Destiny, because it's just there's no excitement with getting loot anymore, really at all. It's like, oh, I got a red border, 2 more to go. I got a red border, 3 more to go. It's never like, it just never feels like you're having that big dopamine payoff for me anymore. So I've been playing Onslaught more than I've played Destiny in the last like 5 months or so, because it's I can get weapons to drop. Well, the activity is an enjoyable activity because shooting things in Destiny is fun. It's always a good time. But yeah, actually trying to look for roles is really nice. I've enjoyed looking for roles again.
Again, I think it's a matter of how much and where they put the power.
Yeah,
I personally
absolutely.
don't mind crafting because it's funny because I don't participate in it. Again, I don't make the time for it. It's not enjoyable to me. So when I'm getting a really nice drop, it actually feels special. It's just that I know that there's so many other good options, and I think that's what they struggle against is there's so many good guns and stuff. And frankly, I have a ton in my vault, and it's like without proper sunsetting, sorry, I have to say it, you have all this great stuff that you don't want to get rid of that they do want to keep pretty good. And it's like they're launching new perks and stuff, and like it is a little bit better, but you're like for the time and the enjoy, you're like, at least that's where I'm at with it. And again,
Yeah.
I play very differently. You know, there's this group of folks, of course, who are like, I have to have the absolute top elitist, best roles perks. And those folks are grinded, which is great. But for me, I really enjoy the gameplay and logging in and teaming up with friends and within reason, let's call it. And because of that, I don't really like to grind for weapons that often anymore. That ship has sailed, and I'm glad it has sailed personally. I play Destiny for the game. I don't want to grind stuff. I don't want to grind for weapons, that is. My reason to log in should be like Onslaught is really fun. Have you gotten to wave 25 and wave 50? Because man, it's really cool. Or have you gotten that moment? That's why I play personally. I don't want to be like, dude, you have to grind the loot cave so you get the best roll.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
Yeah, I hear you. That's kind of my mix as well. That was my whole point getting in the conversation is like the fun of playing the game versus like the enjoyment and that dopamine hit of getting that drop. It's like two different ways of playing almost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
we're
it's
10
it's
years
why
down the road.
I've enjoyed Onslaught more just because it is fun to play it. It's just
Right.
like an activity where there's a bunch of ads and you get to shoot stuff and mess around with builds, and that's a good time. So yeah, it's not just been extrinsic rewards for me. It's just Destiny for me lost both.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
lost the intrinsic I'm having fun, and it also lost the extrinsic of I want to hunt for my god roll. Like the most that I've played Destiny in the last 2 years has been Onslaught, and before that it was when the Strand trace rifle came out to trials. I played so much trials because I wanted the roll that I wanted on the Strand trace rifle. But yeah, outside of that, I'm like, there just wasn't a whole lot going on.
Yeah, to me, Onslaught and some of their seasonal activities, but they're usually not, they don't quite hit, but there's been some okay ones. But those prove that like that's where I think there's a ton of room for Destiny to grow, which is
Yeah.
like for PvE, right? There's lost sectors and there's dungeons and raids and like there's just a certain amount of complexity and like missions. And honestly, it's all fun, but it's very different than like I would use Helldivers too is a great example, or even Diablo dungeons. Like it's very easy to like matchmake into some of this stuff, and you just kind of like you zone out, but you don't because it's so fun. You know what I mean? Um, Helldivers 2 is like that. It's instant gratification, and I could absolutely imagine more. Like just take Helldivers 2. I mean, it's like mini maps, slightly open world, and you were just slaying out with like your abilities. And it's somewhat uncomplicated, and it's just it's I mean it's an extraction as well. And so anyway, I think if you look at like all the stuff that's out there, there's a lot of room for Destiny 2 to still add that stuff. It's because we have so much fatigue on all these other things. It's not that Lost Sectors and all this isn't fun. It's just their format
I
we've
get
done
you.
so much of. You know what I mean? Or if you
Yeah.
want to do a dungeon array, it's kind of complex to get in and get it done right. And so finding more stuff in between that is not as diet soda as say seasonal activities, I think is where we need to get to in Destiny, right?
It's amazing how many things came together to make this a popular mode. Like to get like Watts playing so much of it, you know, it like it is like a different kind of activity. It's like that fun, like crazy wave base, but like also really easy to get into, but also loot that gives the dopamine hit. And like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just a combination of all the things that Destiny does best. And it's
It
nice to
is.
see that.
It really is. Yeah. The only problem is Onslaught 50 Wave Legendary hurts my hands. I
Oh,
don't
you
know
get
what it
like
is, but I've talked to a lot of people who are also like, yeah, it hurts my hands too. And I think it's because you're
controller.
Throwing too many balls.
well, yeah, you're spinning around grabbing balls. You're shooting like a billion things. Like there's a lot of interacting with the game often for a long period because runs are like an hour of that. So you're like an
Yeah.
hour of kind of just
Mm.
nonstop running and grabbing and shooting and throwing and turning. It's I think it ends up wearing your hands down. And I think there's also situations where it gets pretty dicey, so you're kind of gripping controllers more, and that can kind of
interesting point. Is there's like no orbit, not really a break. There's like depending on the map, but because the waves just keep coming, you unlike so many games and just Destiny, so you don't get a break. That's interesting.
So it's like 2 hours, 2 runs, 2 hours. I'm like, oof, hurting a little bit.
But it's also kind of nice to have that option in Destiny, like like we don't really have that much, and there's times like right now 50 wave isn't very rewarding, but they're patching that this coming week, and I'm kind of excited.
Shout out to them listening with that, because I'm loving current Bungie of being like, we've heard you, here's what we're thinking of doing, or we've heard you, we can't give you all of that, but here's a compromise we're gonna do. They've done really well with communication and making those adjustments. It's been great.
Yeah, I'm excited to grind that 50 level 50, because it is like a different mode where you just kind of zone out and you're just like, I'm just doing this thing. I'm not going to orbit. It's just I'm always fighting. I'm always doing the thing that is fun. Trying to think if anything else happened this year. I feel like those are like the big. Oh, there was one really big thing, and that is they released they changed the raid date to be earlier.
Did they? I didn't even see the raid date.
Oh,
when is the raid date?
You know what's funny that you say that is I thought we knew it was on a Friday, but for some reason I was like, well, I guess we didn't know the date. But wait, they did tell us the date before, didn't they?
Yeah, and right? So a lot of people are like, wait, why are you doing it 3 days after the launch?
That's old school
of the game.
I thought it's 3 days.
Yeah.
So now it is June 7th. We should get that out there. It's 3 days after. Yeah, it's a Friday, kind of like before. I don't think we know the hour, whether it'll be like a 4
They're staying far away from Elden Ring. That's what it is.
Yeah, they're saying 10 a.m. Pacific time.
That's an interesting point. Oh, did they say the time?
Yeah.
Oh, they did. You're right. The new raid will launch June 7th
But there's no power level increase, right, for this?
There usually is on expansion.
There usually is. Oh, okay. Yeah, for big DLCs.
And there was that thing, and now I'm like, you got to go back through the file. They have that new raid power balancing thing they talked about, right? Where depending on the power levels on the team, but it wasn't like you took their max level. It was like close to it or something. Which I assume, and they'll get into more detail in the future. We don't even know the name of the raid, which I don't know if they'll reveal given the, well, maybe.
Well, lots of people are speculating that the reason they're moving it up is because it has to do with the story of like the campaign. And like, if they want reviews out for the expansion, they want everyone to get their hands on that within like the first week being able to play the raid,
Yeah,
so I don't know.
I'm very curious about the raid, because they have mentioned that they want everyone playing it, and they kind of need everyone playing it because it's such a pivotal part of the story. And I'm like, well, it can't just be Fireteam Finder that makes that happen. Like, it has to surely be something else that kind of allows you to get involved with the raid, even if you're not doing the full raid, but allowing you to get involved. So I wonder.
Yep. Yeah, Man, I had very visceral, tons of reaction to this. So whenever you guys want, I'll pop off on it. But
the last thing to what Watts is saying, like, I don't want to like get my hype meter too high, But like, whenever you say it that way, it almost sounds like, is this going to be like a community event for the raid? Like, what is happening that they need everyone there to do it 3 days after? Like, which is usually such a grind,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and they have got away from that as well, like the super short grinds. They've really moved away from that.
That's the first question to focus on: is do you guys feel like you care when the date of the raid is, and why? Are you, does it concern you that it's only 3 days after, or are you like? So I don't know if you feel you already answered, but
I like watching it, so I know a lot of people are like, I need to play it, but I just enjoy the streams of watching it. It's just such a fun competition. Yeah, so that's probably what I'm going to do. But because I watch it and then I go in and jump in. I've done it blind before, but it's just it's like a sport. It's like it's the championship, is what it is, and it's just very
you like that.
So much fun. Yeah.
You like buying a $70 game and watching it.
I do. Actually, it's like buying a ticket. It's literally like buying front row tickets. You can see your team. You can actually talk.
They charge you pay-per-view.
They could. I would pay for that experience. I would.
I liked being a part of it though too. Like that was fun. Like, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think I just aged out of being like physically capable of playing Destiny for like 18 hours a day for like 5 days straight, and then with the end of it being like being online for 24 hours trying to beat this, like bang my head against this raid with you guys. You know, it's just like it became too physically painful for me to like participate in anymore. But much like watching sports on TV, I'm perfectly happy to watch somebody else do it, and I still get appreciation out of it.
Yeah, I think Mylan said when I went to him and I was like, "What do you think about doing the raid?" Because he's definitely bounced off of Destiny pretty heavily. But he was like, "I think I'd be down for, obviously his time starting at reset is like 1 a.m. So his whole everything is ruined." So he's like, "I think I'd be down to start at like my normal time and kind of be super chill about it and do it that way." And I was like, that sounds great. I don't need to be on right at 10 going for like, 18 hours or however long, 24.
Yeah, which we've done together.
Yeah,
we have done,
and it's fun.
Yeah,
like
it's fun.
But like I got back issues. I just can't do that shit anymore.
My hands, my back. Yes.
But if I could, I would, because that was fun, man. It was like really exciting trying to grind for as much time as you have to get into that raid as high power level as you could. And then once you're in it, trying to figure out everything as fast as you could, trying to execute and doing it with like all your friends. It was a really good time.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like, I think that's a great option, but I feel like you're saying all the wrong things, which is like, and again, I'm, being sarcastic here, but like, that's the direction it's gone. To me, it's become exactly what you said. I actually had tweeted about this. I'm like, it's become a marketing event.
Yeah.
So I'm like, contest mode exists to watch. They're looking at how many concurrents they get more than I mean, this is again slight hyperbole, but like how many people are enjoying and playing the raid, like really, and not getting it spoiled and being part of the game. And I'm like, it's more about like this day and getting more reviewers and hype. And honestly, it's become a huge marketing event. So to me, I'd propose, and go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like 100K plus 200K?
I feel like Bungie has all the tools they need to make it both, right? Which is like, it's not like I have to watch it, right? But it does create a problem when you split the community with contest modes and you deplete, people jump off your team and they're like, forget it, I'm gonna get a carry and go find another team because like of the way that contest mode is. So to simplify things, number one, to touch on what you had talked about, the power per hour needs to be reasonable, which is like, look, if you want to have the raid on Friday, like frankly 3 days after, I don't care. I think that's hype. Let's go. What I don't want you to do is when you write down, I made up power per hour, but like when I'm acting like I'm Bungie, when you write it down in your spreadsheet, you're like, you know what? On average, most players, you only have to play like 5 hours a day, Tuesday to Thursday. That's like 15 hours. And then you can hop in the raid when it launches Friday morning. 15 hours of like whatever. I'm just making that up, but like that's reasonable. 5 hours a day is still like people have lives. So in other words, how
5
many
hours a
people
day is a lot if you got a fucking day job and a kid.
It totally is. It's already a lot. And that's pretty average. But like, anyway, make it even better than that. And like, my point is you can still do a contest mode and have that elite race by having contest mode, launch it with contest mode on day one, but be ready. And that's the big thing I've always talked about and wanted is like, I want somebody on that button when they're like, we've got in the top 10. We're confirming the first one. The first one's in. They won, top 10 are in. We've got other people completing it. Boom. We just launched normal mode as well. Like, because the point is the raid's out there already. It's done.
Oh, that's a fair point, Fran. I like that idea.
I feel like that's going to happen. Like they've done something like that. But no, listen, they did it before with Taken King, not Taken King, with Forsaken. They finished the raid, the first team finished, and then a whole new area opened up for everyone.
Well, that was in the Dreaming City, but that's true. They launched a part of the game based on it.
Yeah, exactly. But it happened right away. And if they did that, like I can see that happening and that being the reason.
Unlocking normal mode is what you're talking about? Because that's all I'm talking about.
I would like I think
Never
you're right. They
mind what
probably
happens
won't
to
do
the
that,
game.
but I would like to. I agree with you.
Right.
I would like to see it. I would like to see it.
The reason I'm skeptical is because contest mode has been seemingly like a weird server side, like exclusive thing that like, cause it goes away and everybody after every year now.
Why does it go away? Why can't we just keep contest mode?
Yes.
Didn't they say they were looking
What
at keeping it?
everyone wants.
Am I crazy? Like, did they?
I think
didn't
so.
they talk about it and they were looking into how to keep it active?
I don't know. How long ago was that? And do those people even still work at Bungie?
Yeah. I mean, so again, like I think we could agree, right? Like that could be cool. Because again, like what I want is options to it to not only be an elitist pay-per-view watch only event. And like we've participated, you know, Lego, have you participated in World's First? We have like Breyer and Watts, like I don't think it's crazy to say we never for once thought we would come anywhere close to being in like the tops. But it was fun.
Right.
We were top 100 for
but
Taken King.
No, were we? No way.
Yeah. We were.
No, we weren't.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it was the numbers, but like meaning
That was pretty good, Fran.
That was pretty good.
I mean, you're making us sound exceptional.
We're pro gamers.
Look,
but my point is,
we slid downhill pretty hard, pretty quickly.
Well, because there's so many teams that play, you know, truthfully every week now, and they're just like super skilled. They know the builds have become very complex, and I think that's great. By the way, it is. If I wanted to spoil the gameplay and like watch, it would be a fun watch. So anyway, just to finish up my rant here, it's like I think that would be nice. Again, once the top 10 or top 100, Bungie needs to have a lever in place that says to kind of like you were talking about experiencing Lego. Ooh, we've unlocked normal mode. If you want to back off and get your team through, we've just got normal mode for you. And it's still hard. It's balanced, you know. They've tested it. Hopefully that's the case. Otherwise, if you want to continue on contest, awesome. And we've got some exclusive rewards for you, an emblem or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you could still have both, you know, whatever it takes to do it. I would love to see that. And again, my goal is like, keep your team together, keep playing like Watts was just getting at. I think we're that group. We've been playing Destiny for a decade. We're happy to log in. We don't want to have to go live at 10 with all the server problems and the time zone stuff. I don't want stuff spoiled though, so I'm not going to watch. And we log in and we get together for 8 hours and hopefully in a reasonable amount of time for experienced players, you finish it. But otherwise, split it into a few days even. But that you can without having to wait for your team to get antsy.
I don't know. I love the idea. Frankly, I love the idea of having contest mode and normal mode launch on day one. If you don't want to be in the contest mode, why force people to do it? Just do the normal mode like right from the launch. If you got a team that wants to do it.
But the spoilers is the biggest issue there.
Okay.
You
all right,
can't
that's
have
fair.
Spoilers.
That's the only reason. But I'm with you in philosophy.
But like, all right, so like top 10 teams do it, like you said, and then bang, normal mode opens up. Everybody else doesn't have to like suffer through contest mode who doesn't want to. Some people do want to though. Some people really like that challenge.
Yeah.
So leave it open.
Even me too.
Like,
I might want to go back to it and like try those things. But like you want to learn the mechanics first sometimes and then go back. Like there's more replay value there than I think they give it credit for.
Yeah.
Again, it's a weird setup that they invented contest mode. I remember talking about wanting something like it when this whole power per hour thing came up to solve some of these issues of where should people be at. And then they're like, you know what? Let's just level the playing field. So they fixed it, but then it's always been this weird, like, it's not a mode that exists. It goes away. So
I don't know. I think it's a great mode, and I really like the competition of the thing. Now that if I still was day one rating, then I wouldn't watch obviously other teams do it. But now that I'm not doing it, like I enjoy watching the race. I watched Datto with the like 2 minute or 2 second over the time limit thing, and I was like, I find that to be enthralling. I was like, oh my god, they're so close. They're so close. Like, I don't know. It's a lot of fun.
The raid race stuff's been amazing. To give them credit for that, I think it's been amazing how big Destiny raids have become and what that has done for gaming across the board. Like the fact we talked about Ghost of Tsushima and getting a raid. It wasn't about a raid race, but like I don't know that it would exist without these raid races because
which, by the way, is getting crossplay.
Yes,
I
saw that.
Ghost of Tsushima is gonna have crossplay.
Cross save?
Nope. No, not that we've seen. They didn't say no, I don't think, but I haven't talked about it.
Okay.
but they were launching cross trophies on Steam.
Cross trophies, yeah, cross play. So you can load up your like kitted out Legends character and go play with people on. Yeah.
So to cap that off, my last request was what Lego hit on. Funnily enough, I do love the idea, and this is where it gets tricky. I did think because it's so soon that they're like, you know what, we got to cap this story off, and like, it's going to be a bigger conclusion, I think, with the end of the raid. You have a weird scenario though, where the top 1%, even 0.5% of the entire player base is going to see the end before they now launch you into a cutscene when you log in and change the world. Maybe. So, however if it changes the world, I don't know like how to handle that. But all I can say is I'm tired of logging in for day 2, which has happened, or just taking a break and coming back, and you get hit with a freaking cutscene spoiler, mandatory. It's not even like the raid has been completed and something big's in store. Would you like to see it, or would you like to finish the raid? Yeah, I've been playing it for 6 hours. So. Anyway, I would love like you to not shove that in my face, as cool as that moment is. It's a really weird thing to spoil for the entire community.
That is strange.
With no option really. And you can't even like go back and watch that without going to YouTube after. And so anyway, if they could, I feel like they have the tools to do this stuff. It's the final shape. I talk about quality of life. I would love to see that. Again, I think the elite side is cool. I just want to be 100% clear. Don't get rid of the raid race because it's awesome. But don't treat the raid as only a raid race. It is so visionary and so cool. Like the music in Deepstone Crypt, when we heard it for the first time, I want to be there as a team with you guys ideally, and not personally just watching someone or being carried by someone just to get it done because my team is like, I just can't do this, guys, and I'm out. So that was
it is nice to do day 1 to learn raids actually. Because you have no one knows what they're doing, and then you're learning it like right then and there. So I find that I actually just am better at the raid if I've done a day 1 and can just learn it for myself.
Yeah, if I haven't done the day 1 and learned it for myself, and like somebody has to like pull me through, I never really ever learn it correctly.
Same, yeah, it never happens.
That's why I refuse to do it.
I end up just like, whatever. Where do you want me to stand?
Yeah. I mean, I might be different. I genuinely really love to learn and figure out things. And like, it's always tricky when you have a team anyway. Like somebody's noticing something before you, and like, it's in a way it's a spoiler because it's like they figured it out and like you didn't even get to look at that thing. Like that's what it is. It's fine. But I'd rather still have it be that way. I always bring up the story around Forsaken, and I somehow managed. I forget if I played with you guys or no. I think it with some other folks, but yeah, we got locked out. It was too difficult, and I just tapped out for a while because I couldn't find anybody to play with that wasn't going to spoil it for me. But I managed to stay blind on it, and it was like in December of that year, I got a team back together that was willing to like sit there. I guess I was busy too. I had to like catch up, but anyway, it was so cool, and I managed to do it without knowing anything. And people were like, "You really don't know what happens here?" I'm like, "No, it's freaking awesome." So
that's amazing, yeah.
So I love that. I mean, I always like gameplay, so that's why I'm so passionate about it. I don't want to take away the elite side of all this other stuff. I think you can have both.
I agree with everything you're saying. I do think that I hope that they try to do what they did in Forsaken, where they had something for the players that they just don't. There's so many people that won't even touch the raid. That's just not their thing, and they don't want to be asked to. And to have something for them when the raid was completed, look at this area you can now explore. Look at all these things that opened up. Like that was just such an amazing experience for those players that normally didn't get to interact with the whole community in that way. And I do hope that they do something like this. And I have to think that having it so close to launch date, it's got to be something going on.
I think so.
Yeah, I think also we didn't maybe touch on it, but I do think that they probably were arguing a bit about like recapturing the hype of the early days, which we're seeing a lot of right now. And I have a feeling like it could have been also part of that, like, guys, like we just got to go back to that moment.
Go back.
Everybody, you know what I mean? I feel like that's part of it too. And it just made sense to like, you know what? Screw it. Yes. We're going to
as long as we don't go back to Crown of Sorrow 6-hour prep time and then 24-hour of doing the raid. That was That was rough.
Those call outs were rough on that one.
That was a tough. Yeah, it was a tough raid too.
Tough raid.
Yeah.
Everyone had to do their thing.
Yeah.
I got a lot of TEF lectures on that one.
My favorite raid though. You
That
did.
was.
That was the origin of the
Look
TAF
here.
lecture.
It was. Look here.
That's how it all
This is-
started.
Put your tether right here.
Right.
God, you miss him. Yeah.
I remember
I'm
listening to
excited.
that and thinking, man, I'm glad I'm sitting over here with Joker, who's just completely carrying my
Joker,
ass.
who's just probably one man every raid
Right.
ever.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
madman.
he leaned into the meme, but it was fun. Yeah. I'm excited though. I mean, as much ranting as I did, that's because again, I'm very excited. Like I didn't say this part either, but ironically, even when they're the toughest, like the raids are some of the most memorable times, but it's because of coming together for me and experiencing the vision and the gameplay in a moment. And that's what I don't want taken away from me. For other people, it is like the elitism and the difficulty, which again, I think if you can nail both, awesome. But can't wait to see it. I mean, if you were just to say that part where you're like 10 years of in the making, Destiny's best raid yet, like when you think about it's got to be that. I mean, it's got to be. No more, right? So it should be pretty rad. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I guess that puts us into the TWAB. That was the first part of the TWAB is save the date for the June 7th, 10 a.m. Pacific time raid. They haven't named it yet. They also have some clan updates. So I guess Hawthorne's getting a new vendor reputation track. Clan bounties are getting some love, with Nightfall bounties no longer requiring clan level 6 to claim them. There'll also be new bounty types, one for seasonal content and one for dungeons. All clan bounties will also grant some reputation.
Yeah, it's basically getting clans to play together again, like a reason to actually go to Hawthorne and do these things, because it's pretty minimal right now. There's not really a reason to go over there unless you needed a powerful something. And now it's like, oh, you can actually, like, raid banners cost less. Everybody loves raid banners, stuff like that is kind of nice. So, and there's one that like grants spoils of conquest for the raid rotator challenges. So I'll take that.
Yep. Yeah, I think paired with Fireteam Finder, which we'll talk about in this update too, it makes total sense. You're like, what about the people who just want to raid? And I hope that Fireteam Finder aids in that, because it's been the biggest challenge there. But it sounds like a natural progression to get vendor rank upgrades, the same system roughly that you're used to seeing.
Yeah. Yeah, and as you mentioned, Fireteam Finder's moving out of beta. They got a whole list of things that they're changing, right?
Yeah,
I really wish on this list it does not end your party like whenever you actually launch the activity. I like, how is that a thing still? I feel like we've had it for so long, and like, why do I have to make a new listing for every activity? Why can't I just keep playing and inviting these people?
But Lego, they added emoji to listing titles.
Nice.
Listen, stuff like that is kind of helpful, because it's people. I will say on the listing, grinding for farming, you can tag it farming and encounter one, and people still will like, are we not doing the whole thing? It's like, did you look at that?
People do not read, even though it would help them like immensely if they were to just read things.
Yeah, that's gonna happen, but I've been very happy with Fireteam Finder's direction, and I think they pushed it out sooner out of beta than they planned, right? And just out in the wild sooner. So, the short list, right, was the Destiny Companion app and Bungie Net got this integrated now. It used to have different Fireteam Finder tools.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
that's good.
I pulled the app up, actually. I was like, oh, it is the same. So you go, you can browse all, I can search for activities. So actually using your phone might seem viable. Like here, if I just type in Onslaught, I'm doing it live.
Can you join right from your phone and it'll just like
If you're in orbit, yeah, I believe it
Wow.
ties in. I believe, because that's how it used to work.
That's
Even with
fucking
their old
high
system.
tech, man.
That's
Yeah, I
nice.
see 2 listings. I see 2 scheduled listings, so it's on the right track.
Damn.
They say they've updated the roster tab to display 12 players on each per page.
I didn't know you could schedule listings. That's kind of cool.
They just added that somewhat recently.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can be like Saturday, the raid. I mean, in theory, you can schedule on June 8th. Like, I can't play Friday. I'm working. I'm getting a team together. Like, in theory,
Pretty cool.
it will all be added and we'll be there. They generally improve screen to screen flow, improve feedback when submitting applications, legibility improvements, clear indication of pending applications for leaders, adding emojis, like Briar said, and then we know they added 0 hour in there, and I assume
yes,
the
0 hours
Trevor.
coming.
Very good.
God, why do I forget the name of the Trevor quest that's coming up?
0 hour.
Oh, that is 0 hour. Oh, Whisper. Wait,
They already got it.
Wait, how is that in there? That's not out yet, right?
No, it's not out yet.
Oh, it's just an option. But Whisper of the Worm, I assume, is in there. The Whispers, I assume, is in there too.
Yeah.
And Onslaught's in there. So anyway, long story short, I think it's in the right direction. I would love to see it more on the front of the director for Destiny, which I get more people to give it a shot. Because like even you guys, I mean, we do a podcast every week, and it is amazing. We're all like, oh, really? Just push more people into it, because I just searched for Onslaught, and like, I don't know if it's accurate, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of listings, and you got to ask why. Like, there are.
There never is. I went to do a legend one actually because I didn't have anyone on. Everybody was grouped up already, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll use Fireteam Finder and just see if I could just do, level 10, and then that's it. And there was one listing, and it filled up pretty quick. And so on the phone app, on the Bungie app, you can go use the old version, and so I clicked that. Tons of listings. People like farming looping up to 10 on Legend, and so I just joined that and did it for like 3 hours. Yeah. So
wait, where's the old one? Because like they should get rid of it. And
I think it's because people like using that one because you can still write text. You can say specifically what you're doing.
Are you sure it's still there? Like,
I used it. Yeah.
Huh. Like, I thought it used anyway. I thought it used to be under Fireteams on the phone app, and now it's just the Fireteam Finder beta, as far as I see. But maybe it's in there. But anyway, I think it's great. Yeah, use it for Onslaught Legend. It would be a good solution. I just saw 3 listings that said like chill, patient. I'm like, this is what we need more of.
Oh yeah, find Fireteam Legacy.
Oh, it's at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they got to fix that somehow. Maybe it's a transition period. But it's probably good because there's tons of people who use it already. So, but anyway.
They also have a breakdown of all of the content plan leading up to the final shape. Is there anything notable in here? Limited time activities and rewards. To start, we want to highlight the content that will only be available during Destiny 2 Into the Light.
It's basically shinies are the only thing that are going away. Yeah. Okay. Everything else you'll still be able to get. And even like, the super black shader and all that, they're saying that they're going to find ways to bring that back for you to get that, but they didn't say how yet. So there will just be ways to get all the stuff except for the shinies.
Yeah, I was trying to find the roadmap of the dates again,
but I really want to know what the raid gauntlet is, and they still won't tell me. I'm just gonna have to wait.
The Pantheon?
Yes. I'm just so curious.
It's gonna be a great activity.
Yeah.
Oh, and maybe that's gonna help get people into doing raids.
Yeah.
And then May 7th PvP maps. Still waiting on those.
That's right.
Yeah, so the Pantheon is available from April 30th to June 3rd, right before Final Shape comes out.
Y'all, May 7th is not that far away. We're going to be playing new PvP maps soon. I'm really pumped about that. 3 of them. Yeah, that is so exciting.
Is there anything else in the TWAB we want to go over? Or is that pretty much it?
That is about it. There was a big section here about like how they fixed the Into the Light launch day, because they had a big thing before about like, hey, it's not gonna be a problem now when we launch new stuff, and then Into the Light was like everybody was bugging
Right.
out and no one could get on, or rewards were like not showing up, and then an hour later they would come in, and so they kind of detailed like how it happened. I'm not gonna list it all here, but it was a pretty interesting read if you're interested in how the game works. It just blows my mind that they were able to Band-Aid fix it and keep everyone live and keep it going, and everyone's rewards came in, and then they actually fixed the problem later. And I was like, how does that even
That's
work?
really
How
cool.
do you do that? Yeah. That's it.
Twitter questions?
Yeah.
All right. Charles B. Davis says, what are the chances that the raid is earlier than expected because the Mad Lads actually did it and removed power level? I'd be so psyched about that.
I think even what we talked about before was like, I'd have to go find the post. I'm sorry. There was something about bringing up the average to the highest member. And I assume that means there will still be some power, increase. They may have confirmed. I don't remember. I can't imagine. Let's put it this way. Do you guys really think you'll be playing the final shape and there's no new power
there has to be?
It just doesn't seem.
Yeah.
Well, we have the fire team level thing that they're doing. I don't know. Maybe they're tinkering with some stuff.
I think it'll be in there, and like again, I hope that the idea though is that it's not crazy, and it's just like, look, if you beat the campaign and a little bit more than that, you'll be at these higher levels. But more importantly, that the raid is set to a level that's like, oh, you beat the main campaign and put in your 15 hours or 10 hours. You know what I mean? Like make it reasonable. That it's a bit of a climb, but don't make it a reason that you have to grind Destiny to get power. I feel like we're over that.
Yep. Over it.
Sarah says, what do you guys think will be the origin story for the Ghosts creation? A lot of the community thought they were defectors from the Witnesses' first civilization before the merge, but the collector's edition lore killed that theory. Thoughts?
Somebody call Mylan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Sorry, I'm stupid.
Maybe
Matt has some ideas.
I would like some satisfying answers. You know the way Fallout, the show, it like really gave I feel like it was just really good at being satisfying with how everything went during the show, and I would really like that for Destiny in this stage. Like we've been here for a while, let's just get to it.
Yeah.
Gator says, here's my question. Like the Fallout show on Netflix, do you guys think the Doomsday Preppers will be laughing if actual Fallout happened? No, I don't think anybody's going to be laughing.
No.
I would hope you wouldn't laugh.
Yeah.
What a grim question, guys.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen the show or if you played the games, you know that nobody came out of that ahead. Even the preppers. Like,
that's a good
nobody.
That's a good point.
Like anybody who was on the service died or suffered horrible disfigurement. And the people who were in the vaults were basically the subject of experimentation.
Yeah.
And some of it was horrific. Twisted Joystick Podcast has a kind of a little quick one.
A great podcast, it sounds like.
Yeah. Hello, crew. He says, tiny hands or giant feet? I'm going giant feet.
I already have tiny hands.
Snowshoes.
Wait a second.
Tiny
Water
hands would be
skis.
funny.
But
because when you see people use their tiny hands when they do little tiny hand things.
Yeah,
I do like that.
True.
It was funny.
Everything you do would be like shoes would be hard with big feet, and like walking would be funny. But like I still want to be able to hold like a normal controller, a normal mouse.
I'd like to hold a Coke can in one hand instead of like when I was 3 years old and I had to hold it with two.
Think about this: you would have a great career in the adult industry.
With
I don't want a great career in the adult industry.
Tiny
both.
Probably.
Maybe, probably with both. Yeah, no,
Some
you're right.
people
With
like
both.
big hands. Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to turn your hobby into a job. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I can't make a decision.
See, that's what we look like.
Most
That's
likely, tiny hands for me. I have tiny
hands.
hands if you're just listening.
Burp confetti
problem.
or fart glitter?
Ugh.
So I was
Neither?
thinking
Fart
fart
glitter.
glitter would be great,
Fart
but
glitter.
you're just gonna end up with messy underpants. Like nobody's ever gonna know you're farting glitter under there. Like you
I
can't
mean, it'll
be
be
pulling
coming
down
out of
your
your
pants and just like letting that shit fly.
getting your
I don't know.
socks.
Burp confetti sounds kind of fun too.
Yeah, I feel like I control my burps better too. Like sometimes if I
Yeah.
really don't want to burp, I can just swallow that thing down.
Yeah. I'd say
Farts, I have
confetti,
less
guess.
control.
Yeah. You try to sneak one out. It'd be a lot
Yeah.
more difficult. You
Like,
lumpy underwear. You're like, man, what's going
yeah,
on?
that's not
over
gonna be
there?
Oh, fart
comfortable.
glitter.
Where
They're
like the
saying
burp
this-
could be like funny. You're like,
Yeah.
They're saying
Well,
this
you
talent
gotta-
could work in the adult industry as well. I don't know about that one.
True. True.
yeah, you can.
But my thought was with the burp confetti, are you gonna feel the confetti come out of your throat? Because
Oh,
that
yeah.
feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Farting glitter seems less uncomfortable.
Yeah, confetti's bigger. She makes an interesting point.
True. I'm
Glitter
gonna
is
say
generally
no.
pretty
It just like
fine.
conjures as it's coming out, so you don't
Okay.
die of like confetti.
It's like
ingestion.
steam, it doesn't condense into confetti until it's like out of your mouth.
Okay.
I
Mm.
also, instead of the big burp noise, I want the headshot sound from that one skull in Halo.
Oh, birthday
Where the kids
party,
go,
yeah.
Hey!
Wait, which sound?
You go, hey! All the little
The
kids
confetti.
scream every time you get a headshot, and the head
Oh,
bursts
that
into
was-
confetti.
They don't use that anymore. Oh,
I don't think
Yeah.
they do.
man.
Swim with a
Halo's got some
shark
great sound.
or swim with a shark or a room full of spiders.
I'm gonna swim with a shark. I ain't going near them spiders.
Wait. Are they
Also, they
poisonous
could be. Are they
spiders?
poisonous spiders?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good. That's a
As long as they're
really
not
good
poisonous
question.
spiders, I would do a room full of spiders. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
I could probably.
great, but-
I think I could befriend a shark.
like. What do we mean by room full of spiders? Also, is it like eye level?
filled. Yeah.
Yeah. Or is it just like
As long as you
there's a
can
lot of
breathe.
spiders in this room? Like 7.
Probably go with the spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's just
spiders
like the
makes a lot of
shark. Like
sense.
if things go wrong,
Yeah.
I'm
it
just
seems
gonna-
like a lot worse.
I'm
than
gonna.
the spiders.
I'm gonna gently move his nose away from me, and we're gonna be fine. So like, hey, go this way. You're like, oh, okay, and then we'll be okay.
Sidearm or pistol? Isn't a pistol a sidearm? I'm not enough of a gun person to know the
Are we
difference here.
hand cannon or
Yeah.
sidearm? I would say sidearm.
Oh yeah, maybe they mean like in
Yeah,
Destiny.
I would go
Oh, okay.
sidearm if we're talking Destiny.
Oh yeah, that makes sense based on the next question. Auto rifle or trace?
Mm.
Trace.
Ooh,
Auto
maybe
rifle.
trace now. Yeah, I
Oh.
like trace rifles now.
Yeah, trace rifles.
Bow
I
or
like 'em.
scout? Bow. Scouts are
Bow.
for cowards.
Oh.
Love a bow.
Commando or not?
Commando. Be comfy.
Commando. Yeah. Plus that way, if you're
I can't do it.
farting glitter,
Yeah, I just
can't do
got.
it.
I don't have the
This is what-
confidence in myself.
I was like, are you gonna bring up your ball size, Briar? Like, I can't.
Yeah, I was like,
if
what's
they're
going
free, they're just slapping everybody. I can't do it.
on? Could be that too. He's covering.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, you got a whole thing with those a fart glitter, and now like you're afraid of. That's fine.
It's got to be comfortable.
Anything could
saying.
happen.
anything
He's-
can happen. I don't know what's
anything
gonna
can
happen. I'm a Boy Scout. I like to
Yeah.
be prepared.
Oh man.
Sir Risk of Bisque 3 says, with the Fallout series being a hit, what other video game adaptations would you like to see? Personally, I'd like to see Monster Hunter. Would be awesome to see that they
Properly.
tackle the Palicos cooking up Briar and other delicious. You son
Yeah.
of a bitch, Risk! You got me in with the
Oh,
Fallout series
yeah.
thing.
That was good. That was real
That was
good.
very good. Normally,
Snuck
Briar's
it
like,
in.
oh, nope. But you got him the whole
Did
way.
my question get in last week? Did I pull it off or did he not read it?
It was part of it. I remember because he said it was
Oh.
Lego. I was like, oh
Yeah.
really?
I forgot I was mad at you.
Yes.
I forgot.
I forgot. Now that you've reminded me. Get out of here.
Still a good question too. Yeah, see, that's
Bioshock.
good.
Yeah, Bioshock. I feel like I was thinking about it
Bioshock
the
would be
entire time I was watching the Fallout series.
Yeah.
Yes. Would you kindly make a BioShock series? That would be nice.
Yeah. But, you know, what Fallout is doing so successfully, I think, is that they're picking out like the best part of that game series, which to me is like, it's just an unbelievably interesting like world to occupy. Like there's just so many things that are so interesting about that world. But they obviously played the games and they've just kind of taken that story and they've kept running with it. You don't have to have played any of those games to enjoy that show. But if you have, like, there is this incredibly rich lore so that it's like when you know how like you can tell like when a series has like this like Bible, so like there's not these contradictions all the time happening, like Lost.
Yeah,
for instance.
you need a show Bible to direct, like to have the vision and make everything connect.
Right. I don't know. I think the show is amazing, but like there's so many video game properties that have gone so wrong, Halo. That
but there's been some real good ones. We've had Arcane with League of Legends. We've had Cyberpunk anime, which was really good. We've had Fallout, The Last of Us. We've had some good adaptations.
Arcane and Fallout, I think, both exist in the same place where they have this unbelievable world where they can sell any story they want to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, their lore.
Where Halo is a little stuck because you're really telling the story of the Master Chief, not the world of Halo.
That's true.
I couldn't speak to Halo. Twisted Metal, by the way. Didn't see those.
That was kind of fun. I liked it.
Yeah, people said it was kind of fun. I don't know how true you need to be to that world anyway. Like, it's a bunch of crazy people in cars.
Yeah.
But I was going to say it does, in general, when you get the good stuff, it is the lesson, I assume, is like you work closely with the creators and hand in hand. Like, they were executive producers, like meticulous in the same way they were for the games. And like, that's what it takes. Because the fan reciprocation, right? They're like, oh my God, like you got this right. When everything seems to go off the rails when you don't have like that creator joined at the hip, you know?
Yeah.
The good news too is like the sales of the video games have like jumped back up the Steam sales charts. People are really enjoying like the older games.
They are, yeah.
Fallout 76 has now had like 4 or 5 years of patches and updates, and now it's apparently a pretty fun game. I've never played it. And I kind of am curious about it now.
Yeah, they did or are doing a free week for it, I believe too.
It is a free week.
Yeah, I might just play Fallout New Vegas instead though, because I already know that's awesome. And it's like Fallout New Vegas is like directly related to the Fallout TV show, like closer than I think pretty much anything. Maybe actually playing the original Fallout would be fun too.
Yeah, I always bring up, if you're into the Fallout stuff, I produced this series at IGN called IGN Expert Mode.
Oh, really?
Fallout New Vegas was one of them. It's only like a 10-minute piece, but a really cool piece. You see Josh, you know, the game director, playing the game and talk about it while he's playing. But it's just a good interview as well. But like with some like, oh yeah, we weren't gonna do this, but we did this, and like the history of like how they arrived. And it's like 10 minutes. Yeah, IGN Expert Mode, Fallout New Vegas. Highly recommend if you're getting back into all your Fallout stuff.
Yeah, if you want to know about the New California Republic and Brotherhood of Steel and the Enclave, I guess the Enclave was more East Coast stuff, like Fallout 3. But anyway, like you get a lot of knowledge about like Caesar's Legion and all that stuff from New Vegas. And there's a ton of mods and stuff that you put on that to make it a little more agreeable to the. Because that game's kind of old now, like Xbox 360, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Blaze says, how's the crew's luck been so far getting rolls of the Mountaintop and Midnight Coup? Anybody had good luck yet?
I think I've got a couple decent ones, but I don't remember. Don't remember what they are. But I think I vaguely remember being like, that's pretty good.
I haven't got the one I've gotten almost every Midnight Coup roll I want except for attrition orbs, which I never want that perk, but attrition orbs and kinetic trimmers, because kinetic trimmers counts for the hits needed for the orbs to proc.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's just like Orb City
That
when
is
you lock those two
interesting.
together. Pretty cool. That's just endless combos like that. But that one I don't have yet, and I really want it.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I was thinking about pairing that then, if you can pair that with a shoot the loot, because when you need to pick up orbs, remember shoot the loot works now.
Oh yeah,
Awesome
they're in
to
the same
pick up
column
orbs.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, on that, I was wondering with another gun though, if you can. Like, I mean, that would be a killer like set. I love shoot the loot.
It would be
That's
pretty.
one of my favorites for PvE.
Sam says, would you rather have unlimited snacks or whatever you want? You can't just have a full meal of a snack. I'm sorry, of whatever you want. Would you rather have unlimited snacks of whatever you want, but you can't have just a full meal of a snack, or unlimited drinks whenever you want of whatever you want? Yeah, definitely drinks.
Yeah, definitely drinks for sure. Being able to have whatever you want whenever you want sounds great. Because you get a hankering, and then it's never in the house.
Yeah.
Can you?
The hankering's never there.
I don't get the full meal. I don't understand the full meal thing.
Yeah.
though.
You can't just
You
have
can
a
have
full
as many
meal
snacks
for a
as-
snack. So you
Oh,
just
you're
get
saying
snacks.
like a
You can-
snack is not a
so it's
meal. It's
snacks or
got to be
drinks.
like.
Yeah.
But like
Something like
snacks are.
potato chips or something.
Like you get
I might
unlimited
go with
potato
snacks.
chips. I'd be so fucking fat. I'm already fat. Like, come on, leave me alone. I'm taking the drinks.
Here's the deal. If I
mean,
could
those will do
drink
it too, man.
whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, I would have heartburn like all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was just snacks, the snack could be healthy. It could be like whatever.
Could be
And,
healthy. Carrots.
I mean, the
I'm
drinks.
a
could be
motherfucking
too.
adult. I can have all the snacks I want anytime I want. That's the
Yeah,
thing I
That's
can
the
do.
problem.
Like,
I
We're
also
adults and our bodies are adults.
I got drinks. I'm good.
it's like you're describing being an adult.
Yeah.
like, and having a job. You know.
Both.
Get all the snacks you want. Yeah, the problem is, I'd say the problem for many people is less the access to snacks and drinks. It's that what it will do to you if you just have them unlimited.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite drink. I have one of those seltzer makers. I can't remember what it's called. Soda Stream.
Soda
That's what it's
Stream
called.
or something.
Soda Stream, yeah.
And I don't do any of the soda stuff. I just have seltzer all the time. And It's
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah, my mom does that.
Fucking
That's
love
what
it.
she did to like stop having so much soda.
Confetti
Wow.
burps
Smart.
on command.
Yep.
Jesse Kruger says, in the Final Shape gameplay reveal stream, Luke Smith said something like, Destiny 2 isn't quite over yet. But then he said something interesting. He said, Destiny definitely isn't over yet.
Briar Bar.
Destiny 3 incoming? Thoughts? Look,
Oh,
I hope Destiny
would
3 is
feel good.
coming. If I got to cling to straws, I'm going to cling to straws.
It's not just straws you're clinging to. It's also just like, what is the thing that would get new players in, and it's a new game. Like that is the only thing that would bring mass players in. It is not a good DLC, I don't think. I mean, that might bring old people back, but people who originally bought Destiny 2 are not going to try it again unless there's like a 3 or they change something else about it.
Yeah, I'd love to be wrong. I think you're in for a wait, be it 2028 or whatever that may look like.
It may take 6 months or more.
I agree that it's very hard to untangle, if you will, Destiny 2 at this point, and we need, just start over.
Endgame Express says, Fallout is back in the conversation off the back of the successful TV show. Fallout 4, New Vegas, and Fallout 76 have seen a huge surge in concurrent players. Do you think we'll see a Destiny TV show, and what would you like the story to be about? Yeah, I definitely would like to see a Destiny TV show.
I
think we'll see it.
I'd like to see, like, either...
they all but said they have the entertainment, right, stuff. Didn't they use that word of, like, when they started, like, breaking off, like, Mark and Luke into different divisions?
Yeah.
Franchise, right? And to me, we got that sense of it's, like, it's up here. We got the game, you got maybe the movie, the TV show.
Yeah.
Halo had so much of that stuff. And, like, I can't remember what exactly I had heard, but I heard that, like, Bungie was not happy with how they felt like they had been forced into a lot of that stuff by Microsoft. Like, for instance, that, what what was that side series games, the strategy games?
Oh,
Halo Wars.
Halo Wars.
Yeah, Halo Wars. Like they weren't happy about like kind of having being forced to like let some other studio make those. I can't remember the exact quotes, but I don't know. Maybe they just have a bad taste in their mouth about like letting other people do stuff with their property. I don't know. But I would love to see it. A Destiny TV show, I think, is just like Fallout, where you can do anything with that in that world. It's such an interesting world. I would strongly encourage not trying to stick to like the main characters. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to go to
too.
lore, like outside lore, right?
Yeah.
To places that aren't just you haven't played in the game.
Yeah, or like into the past. You know, what was the stuff with Lord Saladin and the Iron Wolves? Like that would be really interesting.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Blaney McBlanderson says, a friend of mine was traveling in Seoul, South Korea, and found a restaurant called No Brand Burger, whose tagline was, why pay more? It's good enough. I absolutely would have eaten there. What's an advertising pitch that worked immediately on you? I would go there too. Fuck it.
Why pay more?
Why
it's good
pay
enough.
more?
But every TikTok I see, that's just like, this is great. And I'm like, okay, let's buy it. Advertising is very good.
One almost worked on me. I was almost about to buy those Vessi shoes that are like waterproof. Have you seen these?
I have, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Almost worked on me. And one of my coworkers at the photo gig that I do actually bought them. She didn't like them, so I didn't buy them.
User review.
The only reason I was going to buy them is because they were waterproof, and it's nice to have waterproof sneakers. Like, I don't know, if you're standing outside taking pictures for a while.
Yeah.
Any advertising campaigns get you guys? I mean, there
I'm like
dozens of
really
video game ones have gotten me.
Yeah. Nothing's coming to mind.
What was the Destiny trailer where they played the Led Zeppelin song?
Oh yeah,
that was a good one.
Destiny 1. That was the first one. I mean, wasn't that the first? Yeah, I mean, there's plenty. I mean, I always think of fast food, and like I don't really eat fast food as much anymore, living in San Francisco, but just in general. But there's like a lot of clever like fast food things. Meaning, like you would even be like, "Oh yeah, I guess I did go get that because I was thinking about." You know what I mean? It gets in your brain, and then you don't even realize like you're kind of wanting some fast food because they got some good campaigns.
Fran, do you have cable?
No.
Do you watch a lot of TV?
Streaming. Just Netflix and
Netflix.
Like right now, I'm watching Shogun and trying to keep up with Fallout. I just started as well.
Like when I go to like my mother's house and she's watching TV and I like see advertisements, I'm like, this is like so foreign to me now to watch like advertisements like that. Like I don't even like encounter them anymore.
I feel like trailers are the closest thing we get to like things that really suck us in to do something. And I did have one come to mind when I was thinking about it that like I didn't love the movie, but the trailer I was like, "Oh, this trailer is so good." It wasn't the first Man of Steel trailer that came out, but there was a second one that was like very drum heavy and like when Superman's punching people in the air, like the drums are just like locked into it, and it was like you could feel it in the theater, and I was like, I ended up not like loving the movie, but I loved that trailer. It was so good.
Yeah. I was gonna say on the topic, it's funny because like general like TV trailers and even movie trailers, it's all disconnected and it doesn't work anymore. Like everything is what Watts was getting at with like it's your cookies and browsing and like algorithm, and it's serving you up like, oh, they know, like you definitely on Instagram and stuff. There's stuff all the time, oh, it's whatever, a gym shirt or like and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna check this out and save it for later, and like self-care stuff like I'm big on, and like that stuff definitely gets me, but I'm also really tons of it. Yeah. It's been working. But like
going real good.
Didn't think I was gonna say that. But like a bunch of that stuff does get me, but I'm also very researched, and it's the side effect of you don't have to like buy something as soon as it freaking shows up on your feed. But I actually, what I'm getting at is honestly, not only does it work, like sometimes it's been like it's worked for the better. I'm like, this is a good product.
Yeah. So, just because it's advertised doesn't mean it's a bad product, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you can't get like Watts was joking about TikTok, and I think I've mentioned it on this show, but like I was looking for like a bathroom scrubber or something, and like TikTok had a video of someone live streaming. I don't know if you've ever seen this, like scrubbing tiles, and
I have. Yeah.
I watched it for like 12 seconds. And I think it's finally getting out of my feed, like weeks and weeks of like,
Yeah.
Oh, I
dude.
hate that.
You interact for a millisecond, they're like, aha! You
We
didn't
got you
want to
now.
clean things.
yeah. And I was like, I'm not gonna buy this though. Like, stop serving me up this like it's a headless. Actually, it's literally just like the arm of like a scrubber. And I'm like, I'm not gonna watch this for long anyway.
Do you ever do the reverse though, where you see? So here's what's happened to me: is you got those super annoying ads like you're talking about, but then there's some that are like chill and they're just like there, and you're like, oh, okay, that's that ad. You know, I'm gonna ignore it. But I'm like, I want that kind of ad is fine to me. Okay, and so that I got those like Cheech and Chong gummy ads that are like constantly popping up, and I'm like, yeah, I'll sit on this. Like and so I clicked on it, literally just so it would show me more, and now I get it all the time. And it's a super chill ad, and yeah, it's great. No videos that I don't want to see or images. It's just a bunch of gummies.
You cleansed your timeline by engaging. That's another way to look at it. I never thought about that.
Break the system.
YouTube does the thing where like I'll say I need to change a brake light on a 2013 Acura ILX. And I watched a video of somebody perfectly clearly explaining how to exactly do this, you know, where the screws are, what kind of light bulb to get, and everything. And then for the next 2 weeks, I'm like, hey, you want to see a Acura ILX review? Are you interested in a new Acura Integra? You know, there's a comparison video about the Acura ILX and the, you know, Honda Civic. I'm like, oh, man, no, I just wanted to know how to change a brake light, man. And now I'm done engaging with the Acura ILX entirely. It's not even my fucking car.
No, you're stuck. You're done.
It is annoying.
I feel like the shorts are especially bad for that. Like if you like hit a short on YouTube, it's like, oh, now it's just going to be like things that look exactly like this until the next time you click on one.
Yep.
I'm going to use Legos. I'm going to search for stuff
it works.
I'm totally like fine seeing, but just not interested in. And I'm just going to click on
Cheech and Chong drug references.
Just a bunch of, you know,
their memes are kind of funny too. Like I'm like, yeah, it's great. I'll laugh at it sometimes. It's awesome.
Kings of comedy.
I wouldn't go that far,
but Zachary Richard says, can we please get a yard and neighbor update from Briar?
Oh,
dude,
yeah. What's
it has been raining here. I don't know. It's like I should start building Noah's Ark pretty soon because it's just fucking raining and raining and raining. My house looks like, so I'm playing Rise of Ronin right now. So I'm like, you know, in Japan, and I feel like my house looks like, you know how in like Japanese media, like all the trees are like covered with like green moss, and that's what my yard looks like right now. It's just like moss and mildew is like covering everything. My house is turning green. Like,
wow,
what the hell is going on?
The moss look. The moss looks great.
It does look kind of cool on the trees, but the trees are coming down. I got a tree guy coming theoretically this week to take down 3 trees, maybe 4. But I haven't seen the neighbor much because we've been huddled up inside, like trying to stay warm and dry. So no updates.
What was the drama exactly again? To recap it,
my neighbor's a curb washer.
He washes your curb.
But he does a lot of things that could be seen as antagonizing,
aggressive,
infringement. Crossing onto your curb, which is public.
He had his lawn guy get fired or something on Christmas.
Oh yeah, he stole your lawn guy, and then
I'm a lawn guy, the plow guy. He stole
my plow guy.
I don't even know. Like, why can't you plow both our driveways, dude? Like, what? Yeah. Why do you have to have
loyalty,
exclusive rights?
That's right. He got like an exclusive share, a revenue share.
Like, I'm right next door. Wouldn't that be like better business to do both driveways and get paid for both driveways?
He's got to be like the devil on the plowman's shoulder, you know, like just whispering to him all these. No, don't do it for that guy. Briar's bad. Don't do it for him.
That's what our like lawn guy does. He does like at this point every house in the neighborhood. So
Yeah.
everyone gets it cheaper because he's just spending the whole day here because he's not having to pay for gas.
I'm just
That's
gonna put
great.
this out here. Maybe
Cheaper.
this guy with a brand new F-350 and plow isn't making the best financial decisions.
Mm.
You know, brand new $100,000 truck that he now plows with, which is hard on a truck.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Seems
know.
a little off.
Yeah. Anyhow. Yeah. I'll update you, Zachary. Don't worry. Sparty for you says, riddle me this. What's the difference between a slice of pizza? Sparty.
Oh, yeah. And a slab of something?
Hugo Roon says, Hugo's,
Right.
I once sneezed and headbutted a microwave, resulting in a rather deep gash on my eyebrow. What is your most embarrassing injury? Oh, shit.
Embarrassing injury?
One time I was hacky sacking with friends, and I kicked up so high that with my right foot that my left foot slipped out from underneath me, and I fell flat on my back. That was embarrassing.
Knock the wind out of yourself?
Probably.
Land on you.
Doesn't sound
I
great.
don't know. I haven't gotten hurt in a while. I don't want to jinx it, you know?
Yeah, I'm a lot more careful than I used to be.
I broke my toe while running. I was shooting a wedding, and I had let my second go early, just trying to be nice and everything, because I normally set up stuff for the exit at the end. And I had already set up everything, but I had left my gimbal like up at the top of these stairs, and I was running down to fix a different camera on a tripod. And when I was running back up to get my gimbal, and this is like minutes before bride and groom are coming out, I forgot that it was stairs, and I thought it was a ramp. And so I full speed, my toe hits that concrete, and I just face plant onto the stairs. And this is in between the line of people with sparklers about to get the bride and groom that's come down. And I'm and immediately I'm I'm okay. And I get up, and they're like, you heard them go, on the recording that I have. I recorded myself.
Oh, you got this on
the
tape?
B-roll.
We would like to see this on tape.
Yeah.
I probably could dig it up. Yeah. And so anyway, I'm shooting this wedding 4 hours away from home, and my toe is just on fire. I pick up the gimbal, film the exit. Bride and groom don't even know. Get it all, pack up everything, and I get in the car, and I'm just like, "What did I do?" Turns out I broke my toe.
Which
I
toe?
hit it so hard.
The big one?
My big toe.
Oh.
Yeah,
How did they?
And so then I had to drive home 4 hours after
that. Was it left or right?
My left.
Do you have a standard or automatic transmission?
Automatic. Yeah, so that was nice.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I know. It was not
How do they
fun.
fix a broken big toe?
You don't. You just
there's nothing
deal with it.
It was just you just gotta let it heal. And this was when my wife was pregnant too, and so it was not a good combination.
She's of course. You can't just.
I bet she wasn't feeling super sympathetic for your hurting toe.
I'm pretty sure it was the weekend too that she went to the ER because there was it was just
oh my God.
the worst set of events of my entire life. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I recorded it.
Wow. That's funny.
One time I leaned over the shower to wash my feet, and I hurt my back.
Just
badly.
Well, I mean,
You're getting your shower beer?
Oh, shower beer. Was that it?
Shower beer.
That was it. That's what caused it. The shower beer.
Oh, my back.
Oh, my neck. Oh, my back. All right, guys. I think that's going to wrap this one up.
All righty.
We're still talking about it, but we may do the show next Wednesday, the live show next Wednesday. So if you're into watching the show live, it may be on Wednesday. We're not positive yet, but keep an eye out on the Twitter feed for that information. If you just do the regular podcast, though, it'll be normal time as usual. Thank you all for hanging out. We'll see you in a week. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.